Mike would not unmute. What's up, guys? How we doing? 43 here. What's up? How we doing? How are we doing? Can you be first today? We'll see. Go to the Discord thingy and put it in the thingy. I know that made sense. You're welcome. Alright, so how we doing today, guys? How are we doing today? Seeing a bunch of highs. Hi, what's up? Roman, hello. Punctual this time? Okay. Greetings from Germany. What's up, Germany? How we doing? So, guys, I'm going to start doing this thing where I'm going to show you songs that I'm kind of obsessed with at the moment. And songs I keep listening to over and over again. So, starting off this week, we are going to be, when you send, so there's a there's a description down, right, what? Yeah, there's a description down below that has a link that is basically for our Discord channel. We have a feedback live stream channel, or I guess server there that you can go put your tracks in. How we doing, Arco? What's up? What's up from France? Holy crap. That's a long way away from where I am. All right, so here I'm going to just play, I'm just going to play this Magicness. Turn it up a little bit there for you.
Everybody cool.
That's the song I'm obsessed with at the moment. I'm actually obsessed with all of what Sultan does at the moment. I don't know what it is. His sound design is freaky. It's weird, but I love it. All right, so let's go. Let's get this going. Again, as like every stream for the last like 3 weeks, I'm gonna be pausing or muting the mic to cough, and I have a hot beverage next to me to drink out of. Starting with, I'm assuming this is trippy. I'm gonna say it's trippy. It might not be, but I'm gonna say it. And there's a serious delay right now on the stream from what I see. So I've noticed that like it still has me on the screen picking a song, but I'm way ahead of it. So far, the chorus slash drop of the song is a little too empty. That clap you have should not be a clap. It should be some sort of clunky type of snare that hits just to bring the light out of it. And you do need some cymbals in there, because at the first right here, at the very beginning, with that white noise downshifter, it sounds really good. But in your drum right now, your drum section, you don't have any highs being filled. So the only frequencies that are being filled is the low from the kick and then the mids from the synths, and then you have a clap every now and again, which should be changed to a more progressive, punchy snare. definitely learn some sidechaining techniques in order to sidechain your drums through. That way we can have the sound. Even if you wanted to have that clap, we can't really hear it. So if you wanted to have it, then we could probably keep it, but put sidechaining there, which is basically, you know, frequently dipping whenever a certain sample is hit. And maybe we can hear it through the mix a little more. But right now, the drop as a whole is very, very empty. What it seems to consist of is just that little vocal sample that plays every now and again. Some chords that are pulsing, which is fine. The idea is good. It just needs to be executed a little better. Maybe a lead to follow that as well. And then a kick, and that's it. So I would add some hi-hats. Learn some side chaining. Just so we can hear the samples come through a little better. And then maybe add some more elements, some more transition elements in there. I mean, you do have a lead, I guess, but I would make it more subtle, not so high pitched. And then work on any transitions outside the drop. So basically, just as a whole, some side chaining so we can hear those drums come through. Maybe change that clap out for a punchier snare. Add some hi-hats and some high frequency elements in the drop. Change that lead to be a little bit lower in octave in pitch wise, and then maybe add some more layers on those chords, just so we can hear a little bit more of a groove with it, and then work on some mixing and mastering techniques as well. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube on how to do that kind of stuff. The kick is kind of clipping a little bit too inside this build up. It's a little bit clippy here. Clipping is just everything breaching 0.0 decibels. That's really all that is. You can fix that with limiting, but even if your sample's too loud, like if you have a synth that's red barring inside the plugin, but you put a limiter on it, it's still gonna sound really distorted. But yeah, that's that's that. I'm assuming it's trippy. We are streaming to Facebook as well today, guys, so I can't pull up Facebook's chat for some reason. It never lets me, as I say every stream. But head over to Facebook, share the stream. I did not talk about what we're giving away today. It's not like I do this every week or something. So today's giveaway is the one and only King Multiband compressor. I forgot what it was called for a second. The King is a dynamically enhanced multiband compressor plugin. It is going to be by far your #1 choice when it comes to multiband compression. We have a video about it right here. It also comes with bonus content, which is going to be down here. There's a big landing page, I guess essentially a landing page or a description made by yours truly about everything that happens with it, everything you get with it. Then you get some audio video courses, some by Multiplier, and I think Eric Kaufman is another one. Then you get all this bonus content stuff here, all these presets, and then we have samples of what you'll get very briefly. Down at the bottom is the actual audio sample for it. It's about almost 4 minutes long. But right here is everything you'll get. I'm not going to go over all of it because it's a lot. So that's what you're going to be getting. One person. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be getting this. I'm just saying, if you go over to Facebook and you share the stream, your name, it'll pick a name at the very end of the stream, and whoever name it picks is whoever gets this. If you are unsure if you don't win it, and you're unsure if you want to buy it or not, you can come try a demo of it. I have it personally, and I use it almost all the time because I like the sound it brings out. Not just tooting our own horn here, but just saying, I do. But yeah, Trippy, thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King plugin today at the end of the stream. Nice to see. I haven't seen your name before, so. Futrick. Yo, I tried to get from my weird song, but it's a bit fresher and the drop needs more punch, I think. All right, I will let you know. I wasn't high.
Ships of an alien source are approaching from the sky. Radio contact has been attempted but cannot be established. Instructions are to prepare for an attack by an unknown enemy.
Bravo Zulu 88 has entered orbit of your satellite. Bravo Zulu 88 closing electronic brain.
Maybe if we back away from it.
By the way, stream's going to be an hour and a half today. So we're going to be going until 3:30. It says up here at the top 3:30 to 11 right now. It'll be an hour and a half today.
Step by step.
If that, maybe an hour and 15, hour and a half. I got some things to do.
Step by step. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that now. Pick it up. Step by step. Share that.
Just completed a mission lasting 6 months. Took you for rotation in less than 24 hours.
Pick it up. Step by step.
That's the way to talk.
So one thing I really work on future with you is mixing and mastering, as well as being able to bring your drums out a little bit more, which I think I've mentioned a couple times with sidechaining and stuff like that. I know I say that like every single stream, and I always say that every single stream, but it's because it's a super important tactic. Because if it's not done, or at least somewhat done, even if it's a volume transition with the whole whenever a kick or a snare hits and a volume transition dips out the volume, anything really, to get those drums to come through a little better is way better than hardly being able to hear the drums and knowing they're there and able to, I guess, feel them when the frequency hits, but not knowing exactly where or what they sound like and how good they are with the mix. So what I would work on for you is maybe raising the octave of that low bass tone a little bit, or layering it with another one that has an octave higher, and then turning the I guess the volume down on either one. Prefer probably the high one, just so the lower one leads and the high one kind of a sidechain of a baby mama. Yeah, for real. It's a super important thing. And Future comes back here all the time, and he has some unique stuff. Every single time it's something different. Whether it be hardcore techno or breakcore or something else that hardcore. I think he makes hard. But I think with what he struggles with is the sidechaining aspect and the whole trying to get things. There's a stereo width to everything, and basses are always supposed to be centered. So your kick and your bass sub bass tones are going to be centered. Your chords and stuff like that, leads are all going to be to high to mid high. And your hi-hats and everything else is going to be high. And then it's going to be a little wider. And then it's going to, like, chords are going to be, if I would have to draw you guys a spectrum. I'm sure you can Google it on what I'm talking about. Stereo imager kind of looks like a half circle. You know what I'm saying? And there's sometimes stereo imager, like, I know Isotope has one. Anyway, making sure that all these elements are more separated so we can actually hear the differences between the two of them. Right now they all kind of fall in the middle. And then I would sidechain a little bit more. You said listen to the break, so I'm going to listen. Someone said, bro, I always mess myself with ear room and mid and sit room and earphones. I don't get the really how to do it. There really isn't one. You know what I'm saying? There really isn't a correct way to do it. There are plugins, like even just a stereo enhancer. So basically, if you have headphones on, so the headphones I have on have surround sound, except for that does mess with your hearing a little bit inside of production. So I turn it off when I'm producing or doing any kind of sound design. So basically, if I have a kick and I can feel it hitting kind of like on top of my head, or it's a feeling. You can feel it. With chords, you want them to be a little wide but not too wide. The only thing you really want to be really wide is if you've layered the chords like 2 or 3 times And you can make one a little wider, one not so wide, and then one not wide at all, and have it really wide track. I just did like the YMCA for you guys. You guys are welcome. But it's like, I know that FL Studio has a stereo enhancer, literally plugin called stereo enhancer. And if you what you would do is you'd put that on kick, or you'd put that on a chord, and then you turn the knob up for more enhancement. Which, as you turn the knob up, will spread it wider. The higher it is, the more to just playing in your ears it's going to be, and the lower to the left it gets more centered. So make sure basses, if you have it on a bass, it's all the way to the left, and if you have it on chords, it's a little bit kind of in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a correct way to do it, but there's ways to kind of judge it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ozone Imager is free at the moment. Is it really? That's crazy. I might grab it then. So you guys can actually tell then. So you can put that on top of, put a stereo enhancer. If I don't know if the Imager does that for you, put a stereo enhancer on there, and then put the Ozone Imager on there, and turn up the stereo imaging, and you can literally see the little liquid that spats out as a demonstration. You can see how wide it gets. The wider it gets, the more just playing in your ears and not the center it's going to be. It's hard to explain. I'm not the best at explaining it. But yeah, Futric, the break is a little bit out of key. Easy fixes, just try to make sure stuff isn't detuned or the vocal sample's in key or whatever comes up in here. I think it is a vocal sample. And then work on your side chaining. Make sure there's maybe second layer the whole bass tone with a higher octave, and turn the higher octave down. Just think of it a little bit more life. And put some multiband compression on it. If you win the King, we actually have 5 bands, and you can actually separate them like crazy. So if you don't win the King, and you want to buy it, then you'll get that option. But if you want to find something that's free, OTT from X4 Records is a very good multiband compressor, and it's free. So X4 Records makes Serum, so I would recommend if you guys need something else that's not the King, I would recommend that. Yeah, watch the correlation meter. You're right, I didn't mention that either. Sound Goodizer is more of a... Pumper's pretty good for stereo enhancing as well. You can grab that as well if you need to. It also has saturation if you need that as well. So it saturates the stereo image. But Sound Goodizer isn't necessarily a stereo enhancer or a stereo imager. It's more or less a stereo compressor, so it compresses from the outside in. So that's why everything sounds really funky if you turn that knob all the way up. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next one. Thank you, Futric. I didn't lost my bar. Thank you, Futric. Head over to Facebook. You know the deal. Share the stream for a chance to win the King for free. And let's get to Arca now, whose track is called Aurora. Is this what you sent last week or something like that? Is it just enhanced? I don't know. Could be wrong. No problem. Also, guys, if I look like I'm coming down from the heavens because of my light, I don't know what's happening. It's in the same spot it's always in. It might just be because it's raining outside and it's really overcast, so there's not extra light backing me up. So I hear the side shading, so that's really good that you've remembered to do that. I would do some mixing more on your lead and chords. I would have your chords a little bit almost at the same level as your lead, not too much. Which, if you're in, the glue is pretty good. Well, what I'm looking for right now, and I'm struggling to find, is an actual good EQ that's not... I don't use FL Studio, so I know people are going to recommend fruity polyphonic EQ2 or something like that to me. I can't access that. Actually, I might be able to. It's not free, though. I'm looking for a free EQ that allows me to control the 5 bands that I want to control and be able to see the image. I don't have the full version of Ableton, the suite version, so I don't have EQ8 on that. I have EQ3, and it doesn't do anything. Parametric. I don't know. I said polyphonic. I don't know why that came out. Pluck in the brake. Yeah. Yeah, I would usually say that panning is too much, but you have it timed perfectly, so. TDR Nova. It's free? Okay. Is it for Mac? I have a Mac, so think that as well. Because there are some, for some reason, there are some that aren't Mac related. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, so Arca. Usually I would say that panning on that pluck was too much. For some reason it fits pretty well here, so I wouldn't worry about it at all. So I like the pluck a lot. Your builds are pretty good, your transitions are really good. I would just work on bringing the volume and those chords up at the moment. That's really it. And maybe widening them a little bit. Transition there is really dope too, so. It does have it for Mac? Alright, dope. Dope. Alright, I'll go look at it afterwards if I can remember. TDR Nova? I might have to write that down, to be honest with you. Give me a quickie. I'm gonna forget it if I don't do that. Alright, so. No. That's all I really have. Sidechaining is good. Transitions are dope. Just bring up the chords a little bit. And maybe add some more to this. Honestly, the break is fine. Yeah, I mean, really, it's fine. Only thing I have an issue with so far is it's kind of literally just the same copied and pasted. I would change something in either on this half of the song. Something. Other than that, Aurora sounds great. Arca, head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King, plus bonus content. You're friggin' welcome. Why is this? No, you're not next. Laid back. You are not. Why are you saying you're not next? Is this you? This isn't you. This is Shut Start. I know Shut Start's not you unless you're playing me. Did your track get deleted already? I love the guitar too, actually. I didn't even mention that. I like the guitar a lot. Oh, okay. I didn't read Shut Start's post. My bad. One thing I have for you right now, and this is really it, all that I have, is work on the mastering a little bit to bring up some of the highs in the track and to separate some of the bands a little more. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you. Let me check your transition here, though. I like the piano a lot. And that's dope, too. I like that a lot. The xylophone? That throws me off every time. And I feel like it's gonna start so much simpler. Anyway, yeah, break is really cool. I'll work on the mastering just a smidge. That's really just to break some of the highs out. Since you said whip, it's not fully done yet, so I'm assuming. Other than that, a vibraphone. Ow. My bad. Who is this? Alright, yeah, laid back, go like the stream or go share the stream on Facebook for a chance to win the king. So I hear a sub bass that's an octave too high. A lot of the times people think if their sub basses need to match something. They don't. A lot of songs you hear, whether it be dubstep, future bass, or electro, or whatever, hyper trap, a lot of the times the basses, the sub basses don't really match anything. They have their own kind of well, they have the same pattern, but the notes are the same but laid differently. Because if you have a note that goes, excuse me, super high on your lead, and you have the sub following your lead, then it's gonna go high. It's gonna sound like a weird hummy sound. You can definitely hear it. So I would work on that. Low end altogether is a little bit messy too. I would fix that, man. That kick does not have enough low end in it. It's a little too low cut. So I would work on that too. And some side chaining. I like the change up with the snare added. Snare sounds good. I would just make sure there is side chaining so we can hear them. That pluck is really nice, like that plucky chord situation. Follow the bass note. Yeah, not the melody. That's correct. A lot of the times people make up their own bass notes with subs though. So if you have a chord that plays along with that lead and that chorus, I guess technically, the lowest note of the chord stack is basically your bass note. But not necessarily always though, because sometimes bass notes are played a little higher than usual, so you have to drop it down a little bit. And most of the time, in chords, if they're made somewhat correctly, you can drop. If they're made with like a saw, you can drop a note down lower an octave. If like there's a bass note, you can take that bass note, you can take it, drop it down an octave. It'll have a cool buzzy sound to it. You can turn the velocity down on that, or you can make an own separate patch that's kind of the same thing, which is what I usually do when I stack it. It's like a saw that's just really low played and compressed to crap, and then I have a sub that follows that saw the saw is not bass toned, it's mid tone. That way that the two frequencies don't clash. And I have the sub that matches that, and it basically follows that bass tone. I usually make my songs do that. I don't really have to. I usually make my sub and my chords together. I don't ever really make my chords and I go, oh crap, I need to put a sub in and then copy paste the bass note, because sometimes it goes too high. But in this case, it sounds like you might be able to go in there literally and just take the bass note from your chords and drop it down to a sub. So don't follow. Sometimes you can follow the melody depending on how much. So basically, sometimes melodies play in just notes that are like this, and some play with like notes that are like this on the spectrum. You don't want to have a sub bass follow that kind of melody if it's like this big on your piano roll. If it's like this big and it's only a couple of notes, maybe. If it's not, if it's like crazy and you like go from low to really high, I wouldn't do that, because then your sub's gonna go from low to really high, and you're gonna hear like a hum, high pitched, weird sound. So that's an example of not to follow a melody. Anyway, just some minor tweaks of some side chaining, mastering the low end a little bit more, fixing that sub not to follow your melody but the bass tone if you have one, or create one. Who just followed me? Laid back, thank you. And then some side chaining on those drums. And some low end on that kick a little bit. Other than that, head over to Facebook, share a stream for a chance to win. Who are you? Head over to Facebook, share a stream for a chance to win the King for free. I'm coughing, and I hate it. Yeah, that happens sometimes, Danktard. It's a dope name, by the way, Danktard. Sometimes, for some reason, it puts some people above others and others above some other people. I would cut the midtones out of that sub. Unless that's an actual bass, that's how it's supposed to sound. I would cut the mids out of it still a little bit, because it sounds like it's overflowing the table. Other than that, though, I really don't have any complaints. Some side chaining, actually, because the kick and the snare are a little too dry. Yeah, really, it's just that mid and that subtone, because I feel like there's too much mid in that bass that's flooding the sub, so it's like the table's too full. Either take it out or lower it a little bit, or drop it in volume and mix, I guess, a little bit. Who's this? I don't know who that is. Why y'all? What are you doing? But yeah, really, some side chaining and mess with that for future, I'm assuming, because this has been released for a month now. In the future, try to mess with those mid-tones a little bit to make sure that two are flowy. You know what I'm saying? How do you get more views? I don't know. Honestly, I did know before, because, sorry, I'm taking some time away from looking at tracks, but we still have another hour, so I think we're okay. If we go down to a song that's super freaking old. This one. This is the most I've ever gotten on a song. Reason being, it was supported. I got contacted by Artists Union, and it was supported by Artists Union, which didn't reach as many people as I was hoping. And back in the time when this was released 11 months ago, they had groups that you could actually post your songs to, which really helped. You literally could go to, when you went to upload a song, you can go, like, over here was groups, and you can click groups, and you could add them to, like, 75 different groups. So I would find the most followed groups and just put my song there. And now they don't do that. So, that's fun. And then I had this song called Sick, I think is what it's called, PSIC. This one right here, from 9 months ago, had over 1,000 some, but I put it private. I mean, I like the song. The mix is pretty crappy on it, but I like it. Either or, I don't know how people, I don't know the trick. I know fan gates, like, if I'm not tooting our own horn. Pump Your Sound is a good way with that repost trader. It's pretty good at getting your music out there, I'm not going to lie. But it's just, I don't understand how, like, people on here just post a track and, like, a day later it has 1 million plays. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's magic, I think. Unless you're a magician, you can't do it. Can't do it if you're not a magician. That's the moral of the story. Yeah, fake push. Why is this still here? That part right there is a little weird. I think the mix is a little muddy. I would go through and work on some mastering. And maybe making that kick a little punchier. Oh yeah, they do. Labels are super picky. Especially like the pickiest label I've ever seen in my entire life is Never Say Die. They are super picky. It's spinning. They're way, like, you have to have, so basically what they do is, especially what Never Say Die does, is if you sound like one of their producers already, they don't want you. If you have a different sound, it could not be the greatest, most popular thing, but like Sultan compared to Spaghetti, compared to Zomboy, compared to Schism, they all sound different. You know what I'm saying? Compared to Ehide, compared to, I forget what his name is. Midnight Tyrannosaurus. They all sound different. Monks, Eptic, like they all sound. They all have. So if you sound like one of those guys, they don't want you. So it's super. Yeah, I would just work on your mix a little bit. That's all I have for you right now. Everything else kind of sounds like a. Only thing I have right now. It's a mix. Like the volume on everything is fine. It's just the mastering on the lows and the low mids is a little fuzzy. That 808 could be a little more powerful if you went and mess with it a little bit more. Other than that, Blaver, I think is how you say your name. Thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free today. It's a giveaway. Giving one away. How do you improve mix? Tutorials. Really, it's just trying to think. Mastering, I thought that was just making stuff loud. No. Mastering is mixing. So the difference between mixing and mastering. Mixing is the volume per element. So basically, if you have drums, chords, and a lead, your drums are going to be your loudest point in the song. Your lead is going to be the second loudest of these three elements, at least. Second loudest. And your chords are going to be the third loudest of these elements. So when it comes to actually drums, though, your hi-hats are going to be the lowest sample in the drums, but you're still going to be able to be audible because they're high frequency. So if you're going to, mixing is basically adjusting the volume more or less of these elements. So your kick, or your drums minus your hi-hats are going to be at 0 on the volume, so just 0 decibels. Your lead would then be -1 or -3, depending on how loud the actual plugin is. And then your chords are going to be -2 or -5, depending on how loud it is. It's really just making sure nothing is ever the same volume. However, mastering is cleaning up the bands that are in every single song, everything ever. So there's usually 5 bands. A lot of mastering plugins give you all 5 bands. Like the King is a mastering plugin technically, but it can be used for everything. So it gives you 5 bands. So low, low, mid, high. And you can adjust those individually as well as adjust the makeup gain. The higher you increase the threshold of any in particular band, the lower you have to make the makeup gain because it makes sure nothing gets muddy. So mastering is making sure bands are where they're supposed to be. Technically, sure, it's making things a little louder, but normalizing does that. So like in a dubstep track, you want your sub to be really powerful and your drums to be really powerful. So that's like low and mids, and then your highs are going to be a little lower. They're higher, but they're lower. So nothing ever should stay flat. It should always be somewhat lifted a little bit. So to sum up, mixing is the overall volume of every in particular element. Mastering is the frequency enhancement or compression of each individual element or frequency range. You're welcome. I don't know how else to put it better than that. What? Oh, okay. Good job, Laidback. Proud of you. Alright, I'm playing this. So that pluck needs to be a little lower in the mix, but Not too much, but just a little bit. Overall, the mastering and the mix besides that pluck, if you crack that pluck down just a tiny bit, the master's good. I really had nothing else to say about this. Nature Tea and Pixel Dope. Thank you for the compliment, man. Glad we can help you. But yeah, the master is fine. The mix is okay. The mix is good except for that pluck. The pluck's a little loud. But yeah, Neon. That's really all I have. Is that pluck could be a little lower in volume, and then the side chaining is good. The master is pretty good. The mix is pretty good. So I think really other than that, it's just that one little pluck issue that I have. Do they? No, they're in key. I think it's just the pitch bending he's doing in that pluck. I think that's what's happening. But anyway, thank you for submitting the track. Neon, head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free. We have Alterity, the 80s disco producer, or dark wave, sorry. Did you play that guitar? I feel like if you did, that's dope. If you didn't, either way, it fits well. I have no complaints. I have no complaints. I mean, we'll see what Sandra does to it, but I have no complaints. It is dark wave, Brett. It says it right here. It says it right there. Dark wave. That's the genre that he technically produces that I dig a lot. I actually tried to start doing it myself, but it doesn't. Yeah. Other than that, man, I really have nothing else. We'll see what Sandra does and bring it back whenever she gets her vocal done on it, and we'll see what happens there. Yeah, this one back whenever Sandra gets her touch to it. But other than, I don't really have any complaints. Sandra Bullet, she'll be on here. She'll be on probably. I'm assuming she would be. There's another guy he uses too, but I forget his name. It starts with a T, I think. I can't quite remember. But yeah, Alterity, thank you for the black roses. I'm more of a pink rose kind of guy, but either or indignant. All right, we'll see what Sandra does. But thank you for submitting the track. Famous Spear, welcome back. I know you're probably not here in the chat because you usually hit and run me with your tracks. Cold Wave, yeah, I guess. Cold Wave sense. Future Riddim. That's okay. I get it, so it's future bass and rhythm put together.
Shit.
It's like a spaghetti future, what? A spaghetti virtual riot bass design with a virtual riot pegboard nerds panda eyes future bass style. You're welcome. I just summed that whole entire track up. Future. The only thing I would change, famous, is the vocal could be a teensy bit lower. I understand it's a effect vocal, but it's a little bit. Other than that, sound design's dope. It was made by you. That snarl is now anyone who makes a snarl. A snarl is technically what he did here. That little bass right there. That's called a snarl. Basically, there's growl, snarl, and other things people name basses. But anyone who makes a snarl sounds just like that automatically assumes it's a virtual riot preset. I can make one sound just like that. It's not hard to do. It just takes a lot of effects in a good wavetable. But other than that, Famous Spirit, head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free. Thank you for the track. That transition might have been too long and silent. But that sounds dope. So, hold on. Honestly, I will work on some mastering just to boost up some of those frequencies and the overall volume of it a little bit. And then maybe pulling up some of the low end. Some of the low end would be really great. I could hear it and I could feel that's mid bass, but the sub's a little drowned. I like the variation you did here. It just shows you how effective a hi-hat is. Transition there is good. This transition right here is the only thing I have a problem with. It's just too long. Maybe cut it in half, or maybe put something more there, or like an impact or something. Other than that, fix the low end on it, bring some sub out a little bit more, and it'll be great. So head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free today. Only one person gets it. So guys, we're at about 2:58 my time. So that's about 32 more minutes left of the stream. Hopefully I can get you to talk to. Thing I really work on this track so far is side chaining to get that kick to come out. And sub mastering to get those low ends to come out as well. If there's not a sub already there, then it would help a lot. Introduction, super. Why? Super sick. And that transition's a little too long. That bass is cool though. Yeah, just some side shading, some mastering to bring out some of the low end, and make sure that kick is punchy enough to be able to punch people in the chest with it. What? Yo, let me send you something right quick. Just put it in our Discord channel, and I'll get to it if I'm able to. But yeah, some low end with the mastering, and if you don't have a sub, make sure to add one, and then compress it to where the low end sticks out a little bit more than all the frequencies. Introduction is super cool. The transition's a little too long. Other than that, I dig it. It was really cool. Thank you for submitting the track F2A. I'm assuming that's who you are, John Williams. If you participated in this, great. Last Jedi. I am actually kind of sad. I haven't seen that movie yet, though. I am sad that it's ending, though. But thank you for spending the track out on Facebook. Share the stream for a chance to win the King for free at the end of the stream, which is 30 minutes from now. 29 minutes from now. the one thing that I have the most right now is low end. And then some mixing, because a lot of these elements seem to be at the same level. So there's no like dip inside the actual track. The lead, the pluck, the ARP is too loud to be an ARP. Unless you want it to be, which is fine. But one thing I noticed is you might want to drop that ARP down a little bit more if you're gonna have it back these elements, and then make sure to mix the chords down below the lead. Lead's a little higher, drums are always over top, and some side chaining to get those drums to poke through a little better. Yeah, everything seems to be at the same volume. And the drums are really drowned out, so I would do some side chaining just so we can get the the frequencies of the kick and the snare to poke through a little better. A lot of future tracks? Yeah, a lot of future tracks. Yeah, side chaining is key. Future bass has a heavy side chaining tone to it. There is a kick, it's just not, it's just drowned out. But yeah, some side chaining, some mastering to get these bands to be separated, and the highs to poke and the lows to poke through. Some low end overall on the track, and some mixing to make sure these volumes aren't at the same level, and to make sure the kick and the snare are compressed enough to punch through the mix. Other than that, thank you for submitting the track. Get over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free, which will help you with the whole mastering thing that I just mentioned. Let's bring on some. That track does not work unless you messaged me to confirm it. Who are you? Who are you? Tells me I have for this one. Ah. I see. That one. I go whip. Trying to fix this stream. There's something supposed to be on the screen and it's not. Frustrating. Some side chaining would really help you with the whole vibe feel. That'd be really dope. Some heavier side chaining on these basses with the kick and the snare, and then some low end that are really snappy with the basses is really cool. The creativity of this is pretty dope too, though. Sound design is crazy. But yeah, some side chaining. Bump the low up a little bit more. What sort of style? This is sort of super hard to explain. It's if you technically want to put it up on a genre, it's Riddim technically, but it's spaghetti type of Riddim. It's more of a or a not really a Monks type of Riddim, but more of an Eptic or spaghetti type of Riddim. That's really, it's not Vomit Step. Vomit Step is Snails. Really weird, his music with this really weird, throaty, like gargly basses. This is, it sounds a little bit like what Getter and If Getter and Spock were to make Riddim, that's what it would sound like. Metallic, snappy, sharp LFO'd basses. Vomit Step is really wide LFOs, really grimy sounding wavetables. How to be featured on my live stream? Go on our Discord, support our Discord channel, and whenever the streams come up, like 2 minutes before they start, which is usually Sundays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, post your track in the feedback thingy. But Mutter, I don't know if it's Mutter. Thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free, which would help you because then you could bump up the lows. I really don't have any complaints or anything to give you. That's really all. I really don't have. Maybe some more side chanting so that kick comes through. Yeah, definitely some more side chanting. That's really all I have, man. I mean, I don't really. Sorry, I'm trying to like. This thing is supposed to be on my screen right now, or on your screen so you can see it, but it won't. It's not. I can't find it. Anyway, besides, I'm gonna close this. It's not gonna mess with my stream. Please, go away. All right, but other than that, yeah, just some side shading, just so that kick and the snare comes through a little bit better. Other than that, man, I don't really have anything else. That was a great track. Who are you? What are you doing? But yeah, Dino, thank you for submitting the track. That was awesome. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free, or you can go there and get the demo and try that for free. If you want to buy it, though, if you don't win it, you have to pay £99. Yeah. J Sample. Someone just asked any tips on how to make the intro fit with the drop I already made without using the same chords in the drop and the intro. Future bass, always start out with your drop first and then make your intro around your drop, because everyone always listens to every single track in EDM ever for the drops most of the time. So start with your drop and build the song around that. So if you start with your drop in your keys in C, and then you make your introduction in C, but then you write a drop and it sounds really better, a lot better in A, then you may have just screwed yourself. So if you make the A first, if you make the drop first, then you can make everything surrounding that sound like it's supposed to lead up to that. Does that make any sense? Make the drop first. That's all I'm trying to say. This part here, made first, or should be made first. And then it makes it so much easier if you get your writer and your creativity out on your drop than your introduction, because then you lose, like when you build up your introduction, you get to your build up and you're like at your drop, you're like, I don't know what to do. That happens to me all the time. So I make my drops first, and then I make everything surrounded that, or at least your chord progression. Did I? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Did I? Did I? No, I didn't. J sample, Dino Shaddix, Mutter. No, I didn't. I didn't mean to if I did. I didn't see it. Are you down here? No. Midix, I don't see you. Above Murph, Mutter. FRZ. I did. My bad. I'll do that next time. Oh yeah, because Mutter gave me one that didn't. The link didn't work. That's good. Honestly, just some mastering on it. Really. Why does it do this? Stop it. Some multiband compression on that little plucky lead chord thing. And some side chaining so those kick and snare come through. And a little better transitions. That sounded out of key with the rest of the mix. Yeah, no, I see that. But yeah, what is it? Why? Is it because I'm doing that? My bad. But yeah, some mastering and some mixing to turn down some of these volumes a little bit. Some multiband compression on that little plucky lead chord thing you have going on. Some sidechain to get the kick and snare to come through. And then some mastering to separate the bands, so the highs of the highs and the mids of the chord to come through, plus the low end. Some basic stuff. If you need help, the videos. If anyone doesn't understand what I'm saying right now and it's going too fast, the videos are always uploaded to our channel afterwards, so you can always check back and look at that if you have to. All right. Sorry, Midix, FRZ, whoever you are. Kick shouldn't be in stereo. I didn't hear it in stereo before. Might be. Thing that I disagree with right now is that bass you have that leads it. I feel like that it should be something different, something that's not as that has more attack. Sorry, I just saw a Skype message. I'm talking to Roman behind the scenes, and he's making me laugh. So the little thing you do. That little plucky thing. Maybe. Is 18-year-old still considered young? Yeah, yes. I'm not even 22 yet, and I'm still considered young. So yes. But anyway, so it feels too overly compressed. Someone said that in the comments, and I feel you. He's doing pretty good with the whole EQing and hearing stuff, so I'm gonna go with him too. It is too overly compressed, as you can tell by this. I understand normalizing bump stuff to 0 dP. Do know that. SoundCloud, however, does not. This is technically not 0 dB. Actually, right here is somewhat 0 dB. I don't know why they do that. So this means it's overly compressed. It's not me that it's clipping. It just means it's overly compressed. So lower the compression just a smidgel. And maybe fix this to where it's not. It sounds like a gunshot, like a Star Wars gunshot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe change it to something that's a little different. Snare sounds. Some side chaining on everything else to make the kick and the snare come through. The mix down a little bit is a little muddy. Everything kind of sounds somewhat at the same volume. If not, the compression's probably making that happen. So I would really lower your compression now and then do some mastering on the track overall to boost some of those low ends and separate some of the bands so the attacks of everything else can poke out over everything else. God, I can't. Doing this for over an hour makes me not able to speak. My coffee's getting cold and I'm running out of it. I'm getting mad. But yeah, just some minor things with the compression thing. I would fix your compression a little bit. It's making everything kind of sound like it's mixed at the same volume. And then mastering your low ends to poke through and your highs. Believe it or not, when you master a high up a little bit, when you turn the highs up just a smidgen, attacks always peak at a high frequency for some reason. Always. I don't know what it is. Even if it's not multiband compressed, it peaks at a high. I don't know what it is. Even if you turn it down a little bit, it still does it. So if you turn them down, like turn up the highs, even if it's just like a little bit, attacks sound a lot more there. That's how you get, like people always ask how basses have like really plucky starts, like really plucky basses, like Getter's basses. He's mixing his highs a little higher than normal on the individual element to make the attack smack a little harder. I'm just ranting at this point. Well, if you put a limiter, yeah, I mean, it's like basically what happened is he overcompressed it, and without realizing it possibly, and then put a limiter on it so it wouldn't break. It wouldn't break the frequency and clip off. I'm sleepy. Help. I feel you. I totally feel you. But yeah, sorry for skipping the track, man. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win Le King for free today. One lucky person. If you guys haven't gone over there and shared the stream yet, I don't know what you're doing. You're getting a free plug-in at 99 pounds.
Blood for Noxus. See me stab you.
It's that throwback dubstep. God. It's that 2012 dubstep.
Next time, run.
Some mastering to bring out the bands would really, really help the muddy middle sound it has.
Is that fear I smell?
the FM synthesis basis plus the dirty sine wave is basically all this consists of. That's how dubstep was back about 5-6 years ago. It was so much simpler to make it, and you could do this, and they could all sound like this, and people loved it. Now you have to have stupid high quality sound design and unique patterns. That's really all it is now. Make some weird noises. Be like Sultan. Make some weird noises and put it in a track, and you have a record deal. That's basically all that is now. But Nervous, thank you for bringing us back to 2012. Honestly, some side chaining will really help your drums poke through a little better, and some mastering on the overall mix of this will help. If you separate the bands a little bit, it'll help bring some life and some brightness to the track. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, okay, so I found dubstep in about 2011-ish, 2010, 2011. And at that time, it was a lot less complex than it is now. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean separate the bands? Separating the bands, so... so if we go to the King and look. Right here, these are called bands. So mid, high, low, mid, low. You know what I'm saying? Those are all bands. Bands are frequency fields. So basically, separating bands, as soon as you slap on a multiband compressor or OTT or the King, it automatically takes the bands and it basically splits them, and they're all played somewhat separately, and it widens the track automatically. Now, if you separate these by turning your low up and messing with your makeup game, which turns down the mud basically, then you can basically widen a track out. So if you hear this track right now, it sounds very squished together. That's called distortion and compression without there's compression on there, but it's not. If it is multiband, it's not separated enough. So what the King basically does, and this is again not tuning. This is not shameless tuning of the horn. I don't know. I was going to say something. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, so these are bands. It's separating the bands, I mean, by turning up these knobs. Separating a band would be if the bands are all at equal right here. Turning down this mid like it is right here is separating it. It keeps them from all being at the same level. Separating them is making sure bands are supposed to be where they're supposed to be. So highs, this one is obviously a master because of the highest down really low. You really don't need to do that all that much. Really, the King comes with presets, so there are a bunch of presets. So what you can do is basically separate these bands by turning them how you like them. Lows to be, if you on a dubstep track, it really all depends on what kind of genre you're making. Dubstep is going to have the lows increased a little bit, and then the low mids increased a little bit as well, but your mids are a little bit lower, because if it's a dubstep, it's not going to have a lot of chords, unless it's melodic dubstep. That's a whole different story, and your highs will be increased for attacks. That's what I mean by separating bands. Just go through and work on them. If you need help with it, we have... if you buy this, we also have video tutorials, but you can go onto YouTube and find some compression and multiband and stuff like that type of things. The King is great for master, and it's also really good for individual elements as well. Or if you're using Ableton like I am, you can group things, and if it's a bunch of chords, you can literally put it on the group, and it'll affect everything to make it sound somewhat the same. But yes, it also has a magic EQ in here, right here. So number 2, the way this is set up, these are primarily for mixing. So if you click one, they all have different sounds. I can't really explain exactly what they do, but the first one, it cleans up muddy frequencies in the spectrum. So it says it right here. If you go onto this page, it tells you exactly what, for the most part, of what they do. I wrote this, but I can't even really vouch for it. It was a little while ago. But yeah, it's really good for mastering. It's super good for mastering. It's also very, very good for individual elements. And you can actually turn these off as well. They don't have to be on. You can cut out mids. Like if you have a chord, you don't want any mids in it, but you want to use the King, you can just click this. You can literally click this right here, and it shuts it off. Or you can turn it all the way down. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, so when I say separate the bands, I mean to make the track feel more full and keep it from sounding like it's squished, separate the bands. I'll do one more before I... JJ, you just messaged me, and your track was next. Ironic. No, we're gonna do one more. You can make a bus in FL. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Grouping is technically a bus. They don't call it a bus in Ableton. Hello? Hello? Sir? Sir, could you not? Hello? Okay, well. I know I'm still live, but I'm gonna have to quit everything. I know I'm still live. I know you guys can still see me. Basically, what happened was it decided to die. So let me get the YouTube chat back. I'm just gonna put it in this window. I don't even care. It's gonna be in the same window. I don't feel like moving over to my other monitor. Sorry, but I was trying to get jiggy with your song, and it decided to crap on my parade. Internet. So Afterlife, DJ Afterlife, my bad. Well, we have bass. I can hear the low end, but maybe a little more intense. Some side chaining, and maybe not so much of aggressive kick playing. Like your kick pattern's a little. I looked into this camera like I need to. I usually look at the chat when I look into the camera, but chat's on this side now. What I would do is again master it so this low end is a little higher, and mix it to where everything is not equal, which you didn't really, and your kick pattern is a little too aggressive. When I say that, I mean like it plays like a trap type of kick pattern. What I would do is limit your kick hits and your drop, maybe not your breaks. And some more beefier chords would be super dope, and that vocal chop could be down a little lower. At least in that drop. Hey, the width of your chords are nice, but the low end on them, as well as the fullness of them, needs to be a little bit more increased. Everything else. Yeah, some more side chaining would be super dope too, and make that cool little snare come out a little more. But other than that, everything else, I see potential. Like if we made another track, I see potential, especially for 13 followers. Third track is pretty dope. 6 days ago. All right, but that was Afterlife. Thank you for submitting the track. Head over to Facebook, share the stream for a chance to win the King for free, which closed because rest in peace my browser, right? I just closed the stream again. Oh my good lord. Help. I'll go back. Give me a second. You want to know why it closed and why it crashed? I went to go to Facebook. That was it. I went to Facebook to try to find the stream. Facebook's really freaking demanding. I'm sorry for these. I'm sorry for the thingy ding. Why does Facebook? I don't know. It's only whenever I am streaming. I don't know what the problem is. It frustrates me. So let's get the shares, which we have. And it'll pick a person. And that lucky person's going to get Le King for free. So 99 pound. Stop it. 99 pound plug-in. I think it actually got dropped from what it was before. And you also get bonus content as well as video courses, video tutorials by Multiplier, Eric Kaufman, some other people as well. So that'll be super, super fun. I think whoever gets it will enjoy it. It's Tuesday in India. Can you put the chat on the side? I don't know what you mean. Multiplier, yes. I thought it was Monday in India. You just said it was Monday. I just know it's not Sunday. Yeah, I know. We didn't change that. Usually when we go start the stream, all we have to change is this part and the number. That's it. And we didn't change the Infinite Nicks. Yeah, Infinite Nicks. It never stops. It's all delayed too. That's what's funny. This one's delayed as well as this one, as well as this one, as well as that one, as well as that one. But yeah. How can we win the king? You can go over to Facebook and share the stream. It's picking a person right now, so you're a little late. But it's fine. I might be loud as heck. I'm going to turn down my microphone. I'm in the U.S. So am I. So am I. So am I. Alright, so it picked a person. It's loading, and hopefully my thing doesn't crash, because that's going to be fun. It is 3:35 p.m. here in America for me. I know in LA it's like 12:35. Okay, so let's... Okay. Please stop. Please quit it. Alright, so the winner is Paul Textoris. Paul Textoris is the winner for today. He wins the king in its entirety. Let me post his name in the comments. Can't hit enter because my microphone is in the way. But that's fine. That's who won. I'm about to get blocked by my own stream. Yep, and it blocked me and said, "Hey, that's too many messages. Quit that." But yeah, I'm sorry, Mudder. I'm sorry, Layback. It wasn't you today. But you can just go buy it or try a demo. Your boy Paul. I don't know who's Paul. Midix, is that you? Are you Paul? I don't know who Paul is. Paul, if you're here, congrats. If you're not, sorry. But you're still going to get it anyway. Your headphones are going to die. Yeah, I am talking like right my microphone on it. I can pull this back so I can talk because I like talking into this. There we go. Can we go to the next song? I can't. Stream's over. Stream is over now. And I also closed Discord. But anyway, that was today, guys. That was this stream. Thank you guys for liking it and coming. Is my finder going to open up in this one? There it is. Thank you guys for coming today. I will see you guys on Monday. My finder won't even... Thank you, God. What was I saying? See you later, everybody. Yeah, I will see you guys... Excuse me, God. I'll see you guys next week on Sunday, hopefully. I had some stuff happening yesterday, so I could not... stream. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bringing the songs and stuff, and I will see you guys next week. This has been Nick from WA Production. I will see you guys in not a week, I guess 6 days, but still, you know what I'm talking about. Bye bye. Goodbye. See you.